Okay, hi, welcome. My name is B, and today we are going to be building my June 2026 TBR. Few disclaimers. My roommate is home. If you hear somebody in the background, she's doing her thing. It's her space too. We're generally pretty quiet, but still, you may hear someone going up the stairs or down the stairs, etc. We are gonna get into this. I have broken my TBR down into 3 different sections. One is my book club pick of the month. I'll get that out of the way. 2 is all of the nonfiction essay collections I'm in the middle of, and then we will be choosing from my TBR jar. All the titles on my TBR are in here on little pieces of paper. The different colors don't mean anything. They're just whatever construction paper I had at the time. Go ahead, grab yourself a drink. This is not going to be a super exciting visually video. I don't think any of mine really will be. They're more just like conversation based. I may have vlogs sometimes that will be a little bit more like on-screen stuff is happening, but really it's just going to be me yapping. So if you are putting away laundry, cooking something, feel free to do that. Not watch the video, just listen. I do that all the time. We will go ahead and get my book club book out of the way. So I work as a bookseller at a bookstore, an independent bookstore, and it's my favorite job I've ever had. Through that, I run a book club that happens in the bookstore, and it is all backlisted titles. So it's called Backlist Book Club, and it's just titles that publishers are no longer pushing to the forefront. Usually these titles are books that you just haven't gotten around to reading yet, or that have been sitting on people's TBRs for a while. Some examples: we've done The Secret History, we've done On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous, we've done My Year of Rest and Relaxation. From May of this year, which is when I'm currently filming this, I'm filming far in advance, we are doing Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. So it's all titles that are generally not the author's newest, or they've been out at least a few years. So for June 2026, we are going to be reading Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. I'm just going to read the back of this to you because it's a little difficult to explain, I think. But it says, Middlesex tells the breathtaking story of Calliope Stephanides and 3 generations of the Greek-American Stephanides family, who travel from a tiny village overlooking Mount Olympus in Asia Minor to Prohibition-era Detroit, witnessing its glory days as the Motor City and the race riots of 1967 before they move out to the tree-lined streets of suburban Grosse Pointe, Michigan. To understand why Calliope is not like other girls, she has to uncover a guilty family secret and the astonishing genetic history that turns Callie into Cal, one of the most audacious and wondrous narrators in contemporary fiction. Lyrical and thrilling, Middlesex is an exhilarating reinvention of the American epic. I really love Greek history, and I think this is going to have a lot of conversations about gender identity, maybe even sexual identity, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So that is my June backlist book club pick, so this will definitely be read in June. The next little section are 3 nonfiction titles that are essay collections that I am taking my time with. I'm not primarily a nonfiction reader, so when I do read nonfiction, I try to take my time with it, especially with an essay collection. I really want to absorb each essay and read little sections at a time. I wouldn't be one to binge an essay collection, especially these 3. There are other ones that I may want to do that on, but let's dive into these 3, which I'm hoping to make progress on in June. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to finish them in June. So the first one and the most recent one I started is First Love by Lily Dancyger. I believe that's how you say that. It is just essays on friendship, and in the first essay she's really talking about her relationship with a cousin of hers who couldn't be more different than her. She is very much wild child, drugs, rock and roll, clubs, hooking up with people. She's more experienced in that. And then her cousin is more straight-laced, follows the rules, sets boundaries for herself, and they bring out the best in one another. And it's really just talking about how their dynamic has changed from the time they were little kids to teenagers to adults. And I think it's a very, just perfect start to this essay collection. It's the only one I've read so far, but it was very beautiful, and I've already underlined moments that I really related to and how I view the people I love in my life. So yeah, that is First Love, Essays on Friendship by Lily Dancyger. Suggested it because I feel at once too close to the camera and also too far away. In the past year or so, it's become so enamored with the Irish culture and language and history the arts, and some of my favorite authors are Irish. I noticed that theme in the past year. Ooh, that's a car going by. But naturally, I picked up this essay collection that kind of reads like a memoir in itself, but it's called 32 Words for Field, and it breaks down all these different words that are more based in the ancient Irish language, so they may not be culturally relevant anymore, but they have sometimes developed new meanings. And I think this is really just an exploration into the depth of the Irish language, because it is so old and so tied to the land and the people of the land and the folklore of the land. And it's been gorgeous. Every time there's been a word that really inspired something in me that I feel like I would love if I could use it in everyday life. For example, I've tabbed it because it's just stunning. The back of it says, in this lyrical exploration of the Irish language's deep-rooted connection to nature, myth, and memory, the author offers readers a fresh way of seeing the world through words shaped by wind, water, ancestors, and the ancient rhythms of the land. Yeah, that is an example of like how this book is written, and it's so fascinating. So I feel like if I am wanting to appreciate Ireland and read from these authors that are some of my favorite authors and watch the movies and learn more about the culture and history, then a good place to really develop that love for this culture that I share heritage with is to know its language. The one that is dying in ways, and that people there are fighting so hard to keep alive, and that's why I think things like this are so important. And the next one is equally fascinating and also a little bit less serious, I guess, is Want by Gillian Anderson. This is a collection of anonymous essays or short little vignettes about people telling, like I said, anonymously their sexual fantasies. But it's not just that, it's talking about that in relation to their sexuality and their gender identity. Also, a lot of the essays so far have talked about how their culture would interpret that, what level of taboo that would be where they're from. And what I love so much that this author has done, or the person curating, Gillian, has done, is at the end of each essay, it includes information, these different demographics. This is an example. White American atheist, makes less than $19,000 a year, bisexual or pansexual, married or in a civil partnership, and they do not have kids. I love that you start the essay and you have no idea what the demographics of this person are. And I think that's so powerful because it really helps to break down any internal biases people have before they even read. Like if that was at the beginning, you may have a bias like, oh, it's a middle-aged white man in the United States, and then you would read it and be like, of course a man would say that. But you don't know that going in. You don't know that until the very end. And I think it's really cool because it gives you this anonymous way to relate to this person. And then at the end, you can find out more about them if you choose to read that part. So now let's get into the TBR Jar Picks. I think I'm going to choose, depending on what we get, anywhere from 6 to 8 books. I am a mood reader, so I like to have a variety of things to choose from. I say that because there are a couple of huge brick tomes on my bookshelves, and if we pull one of them, we're doing the 6. Number 1. My cat's ears perked up. I See Buildings Fall Like Lightning. I really did not pick the best setup for this because each pull I'm gonna have to get up and go grab the book, and the camera's like, so if every time I grab one it's a different angle, that would be why. Okay, so first pick, I See Buildings Fall Like Lightning by Kieran Goddard. Oh yeah, 5 friends, 5 lives, countless hopes. Patrick, Shiv, Rian, Ollie, and Connor grew up together. They played together, skipped school together, and dreamt of everything they'd do with their lives. Now they are 30, and only Rian has made it out of the estate and moved away to another city, but his money doesn't stop him clinging to a vision of the past that is quickly slipping away. Ollie is fading by the day, drinking and snorting his way through the endless boredom, while Connor has a baby on the way and a business plan he hopes will change everything. Patrick and Shiv are as in love as ever, but even they are rocked when an old secret opens up new wounds. I love books about a friend group, and I'm very, very excited to explore what these 5 people are up to and what journeys they go on. Next pick, pink one. Oh, okay. I'm getting all the literary fiction picks so far, which is great because I'm a literary fiction reader. Blue Ruin. So we have Blue Ruin by Hari Kunzru. It says on the back, once Jay was an artist. After graduating from art school in London, he was tipped for greatness, a promising career taking shape before him. That was not to happen. Now, undocumented in the United States, having survived COVID, he lives out of his car and barely makes a living as an essential worker, delivering groceries in a wealthy area of upstate New York. One day, as Jay attempts to make a delivery at a house surrounded by acres of woods, he is confronted by his destructive past. Alice, a former lover from his art school days, and the friend she left him for. Recognizing Jay's dire circumstances, Alice invites him to stay on their property where an erratic gallery owner and his girlfriend are isolating as well, setting in motion a reckoning that has been decades in the making. Ooh, okay. This one interested me, again, as a literary fiction lover. The COVID aspect, I did forget about that. Is it too soon? Is it still too soon? It's 2026. I have heard mixed things about this one. I've heard that people love it. I've also heard that it really frustrated other people with the ending of it. We will see how I think. Let's do pick number 3. Oh, okay. This just threw a wrench. Okay, this is exciting though. Is The Tainted Cup. It's about time. It's about time. Everyone and their mother has read this but me, I feel like. So let me go grab it. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I don't know really how much I need to say about this. I feel like everyone has heard about this at this point, but in case you haven't, I will read what it says on the back. In Daratana's grandest mansion, an imperial officer lies dead, killed to all appearances, when a tree erupted from his body. Even here at the Empire's borders, where contagions abound in the blood of the Leviathans, work strange magical things. It's a death both terrifying and impossible. Assigned to investigate is Anna Delabra, a detective whose reputation for brilliance is matched only by her she's eccentric. Rumor has it that she always wears a blindfold and can solve impossible cases without stepping outside her home. At her side is her new assistant, Dinios Cole, magically altered in ways that make him the perfect aid to Anna's brilliance. Din is at turns scandalized, perplexed, and infuriated by his new superior, but as the two close in on a mastermind, and Anna makes one startling deduction after the next, he realizes that she indeed is the Empire's greatest detective, and wonders how long he can keep his own secrets safe from her piercing intellect. So I have heard honestly nothing but great things about this, that it has fantasy elements, it obviously has the mystery element, but I've heard that Anna and Din as characters are some people's favorite characters and that them as a duo is fantastic. So I'm very excited to get into this, and honestly I think it's great that we have something that's going to break up that literary fiction streak we're on right now. Alright, pick number 4. We have like a teal turquoise one. Oh yes! Okay. Yes, we have Misinterpretation. This was on the Booker 2025 long list. I don't know if it made it to the short list or not, but I know it was at least on the long list. I love the Booker Prize. I often find some of my favorite authors that way. I'm very, very thrilled for this one. In New York City, an Albanian interpreter cannot help but become entangled in her client's struggles, despite her husband's cautions. When she reluctantly agrees to work with Alfred, a Kosovar torture survivor, during his therapy sessions, his nightmares stir up her own buried memories, while an impulsive attempt to help a Kurdish poet leads to a risky encounter and a reckless plan. As ill-fated decisions stack up, jeopardizing the nameless narrator's marriage and mental health, she takes a spontaneous trip to reunite with her mother in Albania, where her life in the United States is put into stark relief. When she returns to face the consequences of her actions, she must question what is real and what is not. Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this one online. There are specific content creators that I follow that do read the entire Booker list, and I cannot for the life of me remember if the ones that I watched enjoyed this or not, so we will see. But this is a great addition. It's also the stunning UK paperback. So we have 4 as of right now. I can still pull 8 because I have not pulled one of the big scary ones, so let's see what we get. Oh, this is an interesting one. Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Okay, this one I think I have enough of a gist of through the countless reviews I've seen of it that I think I can just tell you what it's about. But it's about 2 women, Leah and Miri, who are married, I believe. One of them is a marine biologist. She goes on a submarine goes underwater, something doesn't go as planned with the mission that she's on, and she comes back different. So I think this is part literary, part thriller or mystery. I don't know if it's going to have any supernatural or fantastical elements with it, but I know it's a short little snack, and I think it's going to have a lot of suspense and really just mixed up the vibe of our TBR. Pick number 6. Ooh, okay. We have Strangers I Know. Strangers I Know by Claudia Durastanti. Stranger is a beautiful word if you're not forced to be one. Ooh, okay. Every family has its own mythology, but in this family, none of the myths match up. Claudia's mother says she met her husband when she stopped him from jumping off a bridge. Her father says it happened when he saved her from an attempted robbery. Both parents are deaf, but couldn't be more different. They can't even agree on how they met, much less who needed saving. Claudia comes of age with her brother in this strange and increasingly estranged household, split between a small village in southern Italy and New York City after her parents separate. Without even sign language in common, their parents never taught it to the children. Family communications are chaotic and rife with misinterpretation, by turns hilarious and devastating. Feeling like a stranger to those she loves most, Claudia longs for a freedom she's not certain actually exists. She begins to create her own mythology to construct her own version of the story of her life. Sounds pretty interesting. Pick number 7. We're almost done. This is a fantastic one, and this is where I'm going to end it because this is a big one. Heart's Invisible Furies, and that's by John Boyne. Cyril Avery is not a real Avery, or at least that's what his adoptive parents tell him, and he never will be. But if he isn't a real Avery, then who is he? Born out of wedlock to a teenage girl cast out from a rural Irish community and adopted by a well-to-do, if eccentric, Dublin couple via the intervention of a hunchbacked redemptorious nun. Cyril is adrift in the world, anchored only tenuously by his heartfelt friendship with the infinitely more glamorous and dangerous Julian Woodbead. At the mercy of fortune and coincidence, he will spend a lifetime coming to know himself and where he came from, and over as many years will struggle to discover an identity, a home, a country, and much more. I know it's a LGBTQ plus read, and John Boyne is an Irish author that I am very excited to dive more into. I have a couple of his works now, so this one is a big one. So I'm choosing to end the TBR here. It's like nearing 500 pages. So let's do a little recap. Very precariously holding this. Here is our June TBR, along with Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, which is my book club pick, but this is what the TBR jar chose for us. Very, very excited for this stack. Thank you so much for watching. I am making my gentle return back to YouTube, BookTube. I only had like a few videos, but then I took a break. Life got busy, so I'm very, very excited to be back and dedicate time to this. And I hope you had a nice casual chill time. Maybe you got something done. Maybe you had a nice drink and a nice break from your busy life. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.